Tell my kids I love them. Here we go. Full gear on because I am about to jump on this Italian missile for the Ducati V4S Panigale first ride here at Cycle Spot. Somebody traded this one in. I'm not sure what they bought, but this one has a brand spanking new tire on it, as you can see. And the roads are not wet, but it was raining last night, so clearly I have a death wish. However, I think this is going to be pretty fun. Let's do a first start. Factory exhaust. I mean, for that to be a factory exhaust, come on, that sounds pretty sick. Oh, that's an angry seating position. I'm just going to move out of the way of this car. Okay, so, modes. How do we change mode? Here we go, riding mode. So we'll start off in street mode. The mirrors are shaking like crazy. This thing revs out to 15,000 RPM. I believe it has about 215 horsepower and about the same torque as my TUONO V4 factory. This thing is going to be scary. So, seating position is very, very aggressive. I don't think there will be any surprises there. I love the Ducati quick shifters. They're so good, so smooth, no clunkiness in the gearboxes or anything. Oh, the quick shift is so smooth. This is the first time I've been on a Panigale. I have ridden leader sports bikes before, and I have ridden the Street Fighter V4S, the 2021 model. So I'm, you know, it does have the same engine, just slightly differently tuned, I believe. Yeah, I know that bike still has around 200 horsepower. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly how different this is going to feel when we open it, but I think it's going to be pretty intimidating. And having a brand new Super Corsa on the rear, we're going to have to be very careful. I'm already feeling it's quite warm. The bike isn't even up to temp yet. Going back to the riding position quickly, it doesn't, I mean, it's a full-on super sport, super bike. I mean, you can't expect it to be a comfortable daily rider, but it's not too bad. Like, my legs aren't too high. So, you know, I have a pretty savage bend in my leg, but it's not as bad as like an R1. And I'm very, very leaned over, full attack position. But I'm able to kind of sink into the bike and hug the tank a little bit, which is allowing me to not put a lot of weight on my wrists. I can smell the heat. It's going to be a warm bike. As I said before, this is a 2018 model. I think it's pretty much the same. I believe the new one is a little bit smoother. I'm not feeling a huge difference in terms of smoothness, you know, this compared to the Street Fighter V4S I rode, which was a 2021. The mirrors are shocking. The vibration is so bad. You can't really see out of them. You can change them easily. You get those really nice Rizoma ones. Alright, here we go on the mild twisties that we always do. This thing sounds insane with a full exhaust on it, but it's not something you would have to do. A lot of bikes are so muted that you kind of really have to get a full system on them, or at least slip-ons to get the sound out of them. Whereas you could quite happily ride this thing around. It's quite loud for a stock exhaust. Alright, soaking up the sun. I haven't owned a full sports bike in a long time. I think the last one I had was the ZX6R. So this position It's not foreign to me, but very firm suspension. I mean, this thing is a super bike. It's meant for winning MotoGP, you know, like it's a race bike with a number plate, but my god, it leans nice. Undescribable. The seat is very, very hard. Feels kind of like my old KTM Supermoto seat, but I think because you're so far lean forward, you don't have a lot of weight on your butt. Right, I don't even know I don't even know if I want to do a motorway pull on this thing. We have to though, really. Alright. Tell my kids I love them. Holy fuck. Okay, wait. Let's drop it down. There we go. Let's go from 60. Jesus. Okay. This bike is so fast. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. This bike is noticeably faster than my TUONO. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. I mean, my TUONO is fast. It would be so hard not to get tickets on this. That was only in sport mode as well. So this bike goes faster than that. I mean, come on. This thing's ridiculous. It's so exciting though. It's like the power band starts straight away. 6,000 RPM, you gotta hold on and tuck in, because if you don't, either the front wheel is going to come up or you're going to go off the bat. It's mind-blowing. Okay, let's get our head back in it. Really nice clutch pull. Oh, it leans like butter. I still am very wary that this tire has literally, this is the first time this rear tire has been on the road, so I'm very, very careful. But god, this thing is next level. Oh, here we go. Oh, front wheel off. Holy oh. Guys, honestly, if you buy this bike, you're asking for trouble. It's insane. I knew this bike would be mental. I've ridden super bikes before, but this thing is in another level, honestly. Let's do a pull from third. Okay, so from about 8,000 RPM, it starts, there is a power band and it starts at 8,000 RPM. Now that I'm kind of getting used to it, it's definitely a little bit more comfortable. You know, you kind of like warm into the riding position a bit. I do have a really bad neck at the moment, so that's not helping, but yeah, this bike gets all the looks. If it had cruise control, that would be a little bit handy, because you know, you could kind of like rest your wrist, I guess. But you know, people talk about the Panigales not having a fuel gauge and cruise control and all this kind of shit, and like, come on, it's a super bike. Sure, cruise control is nice, having a fuel gauge is nice, but you don't buy this bike to be economical and like check the Ks that you've got left, and like, you know, this thing is made for absolute warp speed all the time. Saying that, it does cruise fine. I thought it would be more aggressive, like the throttle, but the on and off throttle is actually fine, even in sport mode. Mind you, I think sport mode is the lowest. Okay, you can't change modes when you're riding. I think what this bike represents, like probably same as the APRILIA RS V4, it's like the pinnacle of super bikes and the technology and the power and just, you know, the best of everything except mirrors. So finding neutral is not too bad when you're rolling. So if you roll up to the lights and chuck it into neutral, it's not too bad. Oh, that heat, honestly. My left leg, the feeling is similar to that of, like, you know those old school oil heaters? If you were to sit on one of those, I feel like if I sit here for too long, I'm gonna have a problem. I think there is like a heat modification you can do to these bikes as well, with like gold wrap and exhaust shields and stuff. My words aren't coming out right. England, not good. Ducati. So you can hear when you put it into neutral, it turns off the 2 back cylinders, I think, for keeping the heat down, which is funny. Right, I'm gonna pull over on my normal spot, and we're gonna do a walk around, and I'm gonna gather my thoughts, and then we're gonna get back on subject. So we'll check in with you guys when we get there. Oh, an MT10. It's funny when an MT10 passes you, which is a rapid bike, and you know this bike will just eat it for breakfast. That's telling you something. Okay, I'm not going to talk about heat anymore. I've said it, the bike is hot, end of story. But I can smell the heat. Why you would want to ride this in the city, I don't know, other than to like flex. You're never going to get out of second gear. See if we can do a standing stop on this puppy. I'm not hopeful. Oh yeah. You can hear the fans going full tit. Right. Guys, that is a super bike. I mean, come on. Look at it. It's beautiful. So, I've gathered my thoughts. Let's have a look around the bike. Let's just get it out of the way. This thing has all the bits. Anything you could want, it has it. We've got the huge Brembo brakes. We've got forged wheels. I guess you could go carbon fiber wheels if you really wanted to. Beautiful single-sided swing arm. Those double exhaust pipes coming out, those stock ones. It's just such a beautiful bike. I really like it. It looks like a billet or CNC. Top plate looks beautiful with the steering stabilizer. We've got to get those daylight running lamps on. The headlights look evil. How do we turn the actual lights off? There we go. Those daylight running lights are so nice. I love the look of these bikes. Always been a dream of mine to own one. I don't know whether I ever would, because, like, you know, I don't do enough track days to justify it, and it's just not practical. But it's not really what this bike is about, you know. Servicing cost alone would kill most people. I mean, I guess if you've got the money and you just want like the best of the best, go for it. I really enjoy the underslung racing style rear caliper. That looks cool. It's these little touches on these bikes that just look so great. You can see the exhaust here, where all that heat's coming from. I'm surprised it's coming, most of that heat is coming from the left side, because the exhaust is on the right. Okay, so the header is right there. So I think most of the heat is coming from that up into your thighs on the left. The right side, I'm not getting much heat at all. Really nice controls. I mean, it's the same as the Street Fighter V4S. I wish I was making YouTube videos when I rode that bike, because you know, that's when I was choosing between the V4S Street Fighter and my TUONO. The Street Fighter was really the other contender for me, but I did decide to go for the TUONO. I'm going to do a review on that bike too soon. I haven't done one yet. As I said before we started this, somebody traded this bike in on something else. So this motorcycle is used for sale at Cycle Spot. If you want to go and check it out, you can go there and talk to Cole. He's a Ducati fan. I think he's actually ordered a Panigale V4R, I believe. Yeah, I'm going to get some photos of this thing. I love the beautiful Öhlins forks on the front. Obviously this has full Öhlins electronic suspension all the way around. I don't know why this bike is different. I think it's just because it's so ridiculous that nobody's going to be recommending this as like an actual daily rider, really. I mean, you can go for gold, but it's just not what this bike's about. Anyway, let's do an exhaust sound. So good. Factory exhaust. Okay, fortunately we have to do a slow speed maneuvering test. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think it's better than my TUONO. I think the energy and the concentration you have to like I mean, this bike is so much better than my riding ability, you know, and I think, if you're honest, it's probably the same with anybody else. This bike is all about turning it up to 11, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately, we need to do another on-ramp test. Okay, here we go. Not normal behavior. So you can actually, you know, if you have your kind of arm rested on the tank, you can kind of get your weight off your right hand wrist and just relax a little bit. As we get off the motorway here, I'll give you guys my final thoughts. And there's no denying that this bike is just a masterpiece. It's really everything you could want in a super bike, you know. It's expensive, it's exotic, it looks beautiful, it gets all the attention. If you want something like that, if you want something that's going to get you all the looks and feels just amazing to ride, everything about it is visceral, you know. It's like the sound, the acceleration, it's just bonkers. I wouldn't suggest buying it as a daily rider. If you want to do that, go for gold. But if you just want the most impressive motorcycle on the road, that's probably a big call actually. There we go guys, back at Cycle Spot. Park it here so we're not in the handicap lane. Fans still going nuts. Beautiful bike guys. If you want to check it out, come into Cycle Spot over the North Shore, talk to Cole, have a look at it. Amazing machine. See you guys in the next one.